How's everybody doing today? This is I know we came on a little early today. Welcome to the ZoWhat morning show. Here we are virtually at the end of the year, probably the fastest moving year I've ever experienced in my life from start to finish. We had a lot of losses this year. 2024 came for its pound of flesh, as they say. I wanted to welcome everybody in. I know it's going to take a minute for people to come in, but let me get right to it. You guys know how we do. Community empowerment. Oh, you like the Pasadena jacket? Yeah, my homeboys out in Dena, man. They create this. I'm gonna pull up their bid. I'm gonna pull up their brand right now. If you want to represent the Dena brand, they got so many fly things. Let's see. Where's my brother? The Dena brand is fly as hell. Super fly. We got a lot to talk about today, and it's going to be quite interesting. I'm ready for you guys to tap in. Like I said, it's going to be quite interesting what we have to share today. But let me pull it up. There it is. My homeboy Jason Harden. They have such a fly brand. He's wearing the Adidas one that looks like this one, but it's fly. Anyway, just look up Jason Harden, Hardin, on Facebook, and you'll see his brand is crazy. It's all things Dena with him. I love it. Life of a Boss. It's called Made in Dena. That's right. That's the name of the brand. Made in Dena. I want you guys to go check that out. Black-owned business. And like I said, it's just super fly stuff. Especially if you're from Pasadena, if you're from the neighboring area, you'll love it. You guys know Pasadena at one point in time was a really black city on the West Coast. My uncle told me, Pasadena was 47% black, especially in the 80s, 47% black. And then they decided to regentrify Pasadena. And a lot of the greatness that existed there in terms of black families who were there for many, many decades were just forced out because they weren't able to afford the price. I mean, it's a historic city. I mean, you have people like Michael Cooper went to Pasadena High, red and white, Pasadena High. Then on to PCC, Pasadena City College. Jesse Owens was at Pasadena City College. Jackie Robinson was at Pasadena City College. Jackie Robinson went to John Muir High. You got Olympians like Inger Miller, John Muir High. You got Olympians like Stacey Augmon, NBA ball player, Stacey Augmon, Plastic Man, John Muir High. Jock Vaughn, NBA coach and player, John Muir High. So it's a rich legacy of black folk in Pasadena. And now, unfortunately, because of regentrification over the past 25 years, Pasadena's black population is down to 7%. A lot of people don't know Drew Holiday, Pasadena. A lot of people don't know Bryce Young, Pasadena. A lot of people don't, you understand what I'm saying? Their families, Pasadena. A lot of people don't know that. You had Ricky Irvings play for USC and went to the Rose Bowl. Went to the Redskins, I think won a Super Bowl with the Redskins. That's Pasadena. So very black city with a rich black history. Octavia Butler, author, John Muir High, Pasadena. So I don't wear it just because, it got the Coca-Cola design. I wear it because, I was raised in a special town. And I just wonder, not if it wasn't re-gentrified, but if black folks had the resources to stay there. Like my kid, my kid who's now a pro ball player, he would have been in Pasadena. He could have been a part of that Pasadena legacy. You know what I mean? It would have been interesting to see if all of the talent that winds up leaving Pasadena stayed in Pasadena. No, Dena definitely turned into a mayonnaise city. And it's old money. It's old money in Pasadena. And Pasadena has, I don't want to get into a whole history on that. I'm a bit melancholy today because the OG died and couldn't sleep. The OG passed away. Listen, Quincy Jones, simply a legend. If it wasn't for Kool Moe Dee, of course I wouldn't have met Quincy Jones. At the time, Mo was working on a television show called I Am Hip Hop. And Quincy was very interested in picking the show up. Of course, Mo and Quincy have a little history because, let me just break it down. Michael Jackson leaves Quincy after the Bad album. It left a bad taste in Quincy's mouth because, Mike felt like Quincy was losing his touch. Quincy could see the future when it came to music. And in that instance, Mike was blind. Quincy was saying, Mike, hip-hop is coming. Mike was saying, hip-hop is already dead. What are you talking about? Quincy is in his 50s, and Mike is, in his late 20s, early 30s, and Mike thinks he knows more than Q. Grave mistake in that, time, in 87. So they part ways. Here, and what goes down is real cold right here. Quincy, in 92, 5 years later, putting an album together. It's called Back on the Block. He's putting an album together, and Quincy is a student. This is what Mike didn't understand. Quincy is a student of music, was a student of music. He understood. He had his ear to the pulse. He had his ear to the ground. He knew what was popping. So he goes, I'm going to do Back on the Block. Back on the Block, he had it broken down in 3 different sections. Bebop, and hip-hop, plus the new generation. He was like, hip-hop comes out of bebop. What are you talking about? He knew this. He was aware. You guys are sampling jazz artists. He understood. So when he decided to get the rappers to be on it, of course, Warner Brothers had their choice, and then he had his. Do you know who he went and picked? Because he went and studied hip-hop. He said, okay, the voices that stand out to me, and Quincy is listening for meaning. He's just not listening for how you sound or your popularity, right? He's listening for gravitas. He's listening for purpose and meaning. He comes back to Warner Brothers and he says, I want Melly Mel and Kool Moe Dee. And because he was at Warner Brothers at the time, Warner Brothers gives him Big Daddy Kane and Ice-T. But who Mo chose was Mel and Mo. I think there's a record on, and it doesn't get a lot of play because, again, when you're dealing with jazz, when you're dealing with the intricacies of music and composition, a lot of times when it gets too complicated, when it gets too deep, people just don't give great music a shot. But I think the record is called Welcome to Birdland. It's Mo D and Big Daddy Kane. Man, listen, just go listen. Just go listen. Mike didn't understand hip-hop. He didn't understand what was happening in hip-hop. Q did. So Q does Back on the Block. Back on the Block, Grammys, blew up, double platinum, triple platinum, blew up. And it kind of vindicated Q because Mike left on the note of, you know what I'm saying? Like, you losing your stuff. You know? Man, that man blended all them genres together. Bebop, jazz, hip-hop, R&B. Just blended it all together just to show you. And then he said, we got the past, we got the present. He said, the past is bebop, the present is hip-hop. And then the future is Tevin. Because at that time, Tevin's voice, he was like, oh, when we heard Tevin, everybody kind of knew, like, oh, this ain't just a regular talent. This kid can really sing. This kid's voice is transcendent. And people couldn't help but compare him to MJ. But if you talk to Tevin will tell you that he patterned himself more after Whitney Houston's vocal stylings. But the tone, it was little MJ. And that's how Q put this album together. Funny story about this album, there's a record, Secret Garden. On Secret Garden, before I get to that, I had a chance to sit with Q, and I asked Q, I said, man, what's your favorite album of the three you did with MJ? Y'all see the MJ plaque over my shoulder in that picture? That's the Thriller plaque. That's over 100 platinum albums. That's Thriller. He had this big plaque over my right shoulder. You see it. It's 105 of those in there. And that was at the time. This is 2008. Who knows, what's in there now? But I asked Mo, I asked Q, I said, yo, what's your favorite album of the ones you did with MJ? He goes, immediately, with no hesitation, he says, Off the Wall, man, shit. And I said, why Off the Wall? And his answer will shock you. See, most black folk like Off the Wall because it's a black album. And when I tell people the Thriller album is better than Off the Wall, most black people be like, no. But it is. Not just because it sold more, but because it was more innovative. Got to remember, Off the Wall is coming off the heels of disco, still has some disco in it, and it's the last gasp of disco. But black people like it because it's a black record. It's R&B, it's disco, it's got funk elements. So black people like Black Michael Jackson. But when you look at Thriller, it's harder to categorize the records. Like, I don't know what genre Human Nature is. Can't call it. Some people say, oh, it's pop. What is pop? He was the first to really blow the pop genre up. Pop really literally meant popular. That's it. So what is pop as a sound? Him and Prince They were creating genre-bending records. Like, wanna be starting something. What genre is that? Is it funk? Is it R&B? What is that? So they were like morphing into all of these different genres. And that's, to me, that's why Thriller is a better album and a bigger album, because it transcended everything, because it touched everybody. You understand? It touched everybody. Like, what the? Oh, and I'm going to give you a straight up R&B record, PYT. And a couple of others, of course. Baby Be Mine, PYT. I'm going to give you some of these moods. And I'm going to give you a classic love ballad, Lady in My Life. Like, what? But black people, we have a taste. But back to Q. I asked him, I said, hey, man, why do you think, or why was Off the Wall your favorite? And his answer had nothing to do with what I just explained. You know what his answer was? It shocked me. Me and Mo, it was just me, Q, and Mo sitting at Q's house in Bel Air at the top of this mountain talking. It was that day right there. You know, and he says, because he had the least amount of power then. I said, what? He said, yeah, that's my favorite album because he did what I told him to do then. He had the least amount of power. He said the bigger he got, the more power he got. And the more power he got, the less I could tell him what to do. You know, Mike saw Q as a father figure. You know, kind of like Berry Gordy, you know. But one thing about the Jacksons, they gonna outgrow father's influence. They gonna, okay, that's enough, Joe. I'm finna do this on my own, you know, Janet Jackson. But that's why that's Q's, or was Q's, favorite album, because he had more power then. Once Mike was like, nope, publishing, I'm writing all my records. Now, on Off the Wall, people like Tank be talking reckless. You know, he had help. Nobody says James Brown had help. Nobody says that. James Brown couldn't play one damn instrument like Michael Jackson. But James Brown told the instrumentalists what to play. And many of the instrumentalists didn't like what James was telling them to play because they thought, this isn't music. What are you doing? This isn't right. But turned out, James knew what he was talking about and created a whole new genre, the funk. You don't get the funk without James. James is the godfather of soul. He created a whole new style without knowing how to play music. See, what people fail to realize is if you have the music in you, you could translate it to everybody else. And whenever you talk to anybody who worked with Michael Jackson, they could be the greatest musicians in the world. He told them what to play musically. He would write everybody's part in his mind. Harmonies, solos, drums, rhythms, and then he would sing it to you. Go look at the video with Saida Garrett explaining it to you. And if you didn't play it the way he sang it, he'd sing it again. And you'd have to play it. Mike got that from James Brown. We still have the utmost respect for James Brown, his artistry, his mastery, and his legendary status as the godfather of soul, but we tend to try to minimize Michael Jackson as needing help. Well, the Force, it's got a lot of power. That was a demo he did at the crib with his brother Randy and his sisters. He brought that to Q. He explained to his musician playing brothers this is what it got to sound like. Oh, he did the same thing with Shake Your Body Down to the Ground as well. When they left Motown and went to Epic. Oh, he did the same thing with Heartbreak Hotel or This Place Hotel. So many people try to minimize the greatness of MJ. But at the same time, we can't overlook the powerful contributions that Quincy delivered to not only just MJ, but the world. George Benson, Frank Sinatra, Sarah Vaughan, Count Basie, I mean, Ray Charles, I mean, Shaka Khan, like, it just goes on and on and on. The brother will be sorely missed. He was old, and we knew at some point he was going to pass. I saw his son at the Grammy party in February. He was old, but we knew at some point he was going to pass. I remember when Rod Temperton passed, I think, I don't know if that's 2016, I saw him, and he was just talking about, like, friends, like his older friends just passing. You know, and he was like, you still here. So, yeah, man. Back to let me finish this story. Secret Garden. So it's 92, they doing Secret Garden. Mike is distancing himself from Q, which I think was a bad idea, Mike. You could have had all the New Jack Swing producers, but still kept Q. But okay, that's another discussion. Q is reaching out to Michael Jackson, saying, listen, I want you to be on this record, Secret Garden. Mike's not returning his calls. This 92, Mike's not getting back. It got a little salty later on. Mike's not getting back. Quincy also told me he reached out to Luther Vandross. Mike and Luther Vandross were supposed to be on Secret Garden, and they weren't getting back. Do you know, Q is the type of motherfucker that get pissed. He was like, all right, then, fuck them. What's the little Mexican kid? The one with the jerry curl, the Mexican Michael Jackson. Get him. He's talking about El DeBarge. Somebody get the Mexican Michael Jackson. The Mexican kid, the Michael Jackson. The Mexican Michael. They call El DeBarge for Mike's spot. That's how he told it to me. Get the Mexican Michael Jackson, man. Shit. We'll get him then. Fuck it. You don't want to do it? Fuck it. Go Mexican Mike. Then, for whatever reason, Luther is not calling him back. So he goes, man, get Barry. Shit, get Barry on the line. Get Barry now. They get Barry on the phone, and the rest is magic. That was one thing about this dude. He could adapt. Didn't matter. It was supposed to be Michael and Luther with the rest of the cast on Secret Garden. But they didn't want to do it. Next thing you know, boom. It's El DeBarge and Barry White. And it's a classic to this day. That's why I just love the brother's vision. Told me how to make a record, how to make an album. Told me how to make records on the album battle with each other. A lot of hip-hop artists don't like doing that. Like, we'll hear a beat, we got a rhyme for it, and if it feels good to us, then typically we cool with it. How you make a Thriller, you make the records battle. And he was like, you get the top 4 records, then you go record some more. Then you take the top 4 from the new recordings and you make them battle the last winners. And if those are better than the last 4, they replace the last 4. And he said, you keep doing that until you got 9, 10 slappers that are undeniable. Just when somebody like this dies, man, whether they're a celebrity or not, it could be your grandfather, it could be your father. That old African phrase comes to mind. Whenever an old man dies, a library burns down. This dude was a repository of information. Rest in peace, good brother Q. Thank you for the lessons on music. Thank you, brother. We appreciate you. Rest in peace to your family. Peace to your family's heart. Let me get to today's breakdown. All right. Total Package Energy. I want you guys to support Total Package Energy. Black-owned businesses. We're going to continue to promote them. We're going to continue to lift them up. We're going to continue to keep them in the forefront of your mindset. That goes for Total Package Energy, which is an energy supplement put together by a group of people out in the Bay Area. This is my homeboy Abdullah. We've been promoting him for over, we're coming down on 8 years right now. And I just want to say, it's because of you guys that you guys keep this black-owned business in business. He's got people that have been supporting him since we started doing this day one. So I just want to thank you guys for supporting his products. He has B12, vitamin C. He's got protein, for protein shakes. He's got a lot of stuff, man. And he has the classic and the famous shot, the energy shot. And if you're drinking energy drinks or that kind of stuff from other companies, I suggest you might as well just support a black-owned one out of Oakland. Go to totalpackageenergy.com. Tell them Zoe Williams sent you. And then also, I want you to support Russell Harrison. I say that in pause because, to me, Russell Harrison is the herb version, the herbal practitioner version of Quincy Jones. Remember that old saying, when an old man dies, the African proverb, when an old man dies, a library burns down. This brother, Russell Harrison, is a repository of information when it comes to detoxing your body, when it comes to cleansing your body. This brother is the brother. I put him on the same pedestal as Dr. Sebi. I have my own testimony for this brother's work. I had been ill. I had been a little lethargic. I wasn't feeling good. Man, I took the detox and I was back wilding. I've taken his phase 3 detox 5 times. And like I said, it really hit the reset button. I know we promote He is Risen, but can you imagine your body on He is Risen after you detoxed with Dr. Russell? Go to russellherbals.com. Marcus, I ain't gonna say your last name. You ordered 2 this morning. I'm gonna send you the red pill and the green pill. All right, you ordered 2 this morning. If you guys want your He is Risen, you already know what you got to do. I'm mailing them out tomorrow. So if you want your package to go out with tomorrow's packages, you got to go to my website, MrZoWhat.com. That's www.MrZoWhat.com. I promise you, these are bona fide slappers. Listen, I don't know about you, but I'm not trying to do big pharma in any capacity, shape, or form. I don't know about you, but I'm not trying to have big pharma in my system whatsoever. And the blue chews and the yellows and the blues and whatever other color they come in, they're coming with side effects, I promise you. I believe it. You might not believe, oh, it's safe. Okay, cool. All right. Dr. Russell created an all herbal supplement that works as good or better. I'm telling you, I've seen people who were skeptical. There was a dude at the lounge. He was skeptical. He took one or two. Well, I don't know, so I didn't feel anything. Then he was like, maybe they don't work for me. Maybe and the only thing I could say was, you're overweight. You know, being facetious. But then he came back the next day and said, man, I don't know, but a switch just turned up. I said, yeah, and he's been with me now ever since. Go to my website, MrZoWhat.com. Please continue to support Black-owned businesses. Let me just say this. For people that are hitting the super chat, let me just say thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you guys. Everybody, please hit the like button, like it and share it. You know how YouTube does me. We got nearly 75,000 subscribers, but only 222 people in here. Many people don't get the notification. Many people can't find us when we go live. There has been a suppression of views, right? Because they know I'm about to cook, and I got a topic where I'm a cook. I'm really going to cook today. But I want y'all to understand this channel can't pop without your support. We appreciate everybody who can. We appreciate everybody who has. And even those who have not, we appreciate you guys as well for being here. But let me not mince my words. We need your support. All of the Black-owned businesses I put in front of you need your support. I'm going to tell you right now, the support that we get for He Is Risen has trumped everything that I've ever sold personally. Like, you guys will support He Is Risen, and I'm happy that you support He Is Risen. You guys have supported Dr. Russell and his herbs and detox and tinctures. You guys have supported him. I promise you, if I showed you the tally, I asked you guys to buy a book. Well, niggas don't read. I asked you guys to support a masterclass. I don't need no relationship help. You know, okay, cool. All I'm saying is, if I say, hey, we got the swipe magic pill, everybody's in on that. But if I say, hey, let's read a book, or if I say, let's do this workshop together, people are a little reluctant and hesitant, and I get it. Maybe it's me. But I need you guys to support. So there are multiple ways to do so. You can go to my website, MrZoWhat.com, purchase a copy of my latest book, which is The Shrouded Lighthouse. It's hard to believe that The Shrouded Lighthouse just turned 3 years old. It's 2024, came out in 2021, October. Hard to believe that The Shrouded Lighthouse is 3 years old right now. Go to my website. If you order today, I'll ship it out tomorrow. Many people ask me if I'm still coaching. Yes, I'm still coaching. But when I send them the price, you know, they balk. It's not a high price. It's a fair price. You have to remember, my coaching sessions are untimed. I don't do the coaching session where I charge you a certain amount and then you got 30 minutes or you have an hour. My coaching sessions are untimed. So I believe that my price is fair. But many people claim they need the information or they need to work, but when I tell them what the price is, they fall back. So just know, you know, Yes, I'm still coaching. I'm still dealing with a lot of people. I have some clients. But if you're really serious about doing the work, pay for it. You paid for an expensive European bag before, right? You've paid for some red bottoms before, right? Pay for it. Start valuing your brother's work like you value the other's work. You know, I think that's important. So the super chat is the little $ down at the bottom of the chat. If you want to give to the channel, you could give to the channel that way, or you can send it directly to my Cash App. I would appreciate if y'all hit the Cash App. My Cash App is $ZoWhatNetter. 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 Go to my Cash App right now. All right. Now, let me get right to today's topic. Oh, don't forget, I'm going to be on KBLA tonight. I'm off tomorrow, but I'll be on tonight. Tomorrow's election night, and that's what we're talking about today. Partisan Political Cognitive Dissonance. Exploring political cognitive dissonance. What exactly is partisan polarization? As Stephen Prothero argues in his book on religious literacy, categorizing America as the most religiously illiterate nation in the world, could it also be the most politically illiterate nation in the world? Are all politicians essentially beholden to major global corporations? If this is the case, how can they genuinely prioritize the interest of their constituents? See, I'm going to keep going. In relation to partisan polarization, was the esteemed philosopher Jiddu Krishnamurti correct in asserting that it is conceptual thinking that keeps man separate? In what ways does political polarization contribute to a decline in our collective intelligence? I believe politics, like any other ideological institution, makes us dumber, because we see things through a very limited lens. No disrespect to my Christian folk, but a person has to be called a prophetess in order for you to feel comfortable around them if they have psychic abilities. In many cases, right? You can't call them a psychic because that word is viewed as evil within the construct of Christianity or some Christian churches, right? You can't say, oh, they have psychic ability. No, she's a prophetess. Prophetess is more acceptable, or he's a prophet. He got God. God blessed him with his sight. Like you can't say, oh, he's psychic. It's conceptual thinking that keeps us separated. I told you guys about 8 weeks ago, if Kamala does not win, brothers, batten down the hatches. You will be attacked for that loss. We talked about the duplicitous nature of politicians. Politicians came after black men in a way that made no sense. Why? Why did it make no sense? Because number 1 and 2, with regards to black votership, voting for Democrats is black women, 1, and black men, 2. So to do this whole, some black men aren't voting for her because she's a woman. To genderize it, to make it about gender, and then to follow that it's the woman's time. Yes, it is. Naturally, it's the woman's time. How about that? It's the rise of femininity. How about that? We're with that. Real men are okay with that. But to weaponize it, to pander to women in a false sense. She's black and she's a woman. She's a double minority. So we got two horrible candidates. We got another candidate, 34 felonies, right? 34 felonies. If he was black, Paul Mooney. If he was black, you already know. You know where he'd be. He'd be under the jail right now if he was black. But he's white, and he gets to keep going. We have two marginal candidates. Oh, she's intelligent. Okay, that's fine. You can't say she's as personable as Obama or Bill Clinton or Hillary Clinton, for that matter. And Hillary Clinton was a dead fish, too. But you can't say what you feel, because then you're hating. We're not hating. We're looking at this thing objectively. Donald Trump is on stage pantomiming oral sex. Right? It's a cluster, right? And tomorrow you're being asked to choose. Listen, I told you guys before, Hollywood, or the highest form of Hollywood, is American politics. Okay? It's American politics. Everything is scripted. None of this stuff. Listen, this stuff is designed to make you feel like you have the power to say what's up, but you really don't. We told you the word vote means wish, but if you don't believe me, take a look at this video that explains how political fanaticism and bipartisanship and all of this stuff makes you stupider. Watch this video.
In 2013, a team of researchers held a math test. The exam was administered to over 1,100 American adults and designed, in part, to test their ability to evaluate sets of data. Hidden among these math problems were two almost identical questions. Both problems used the same difficult data set, and each had one objectively correct answer. The first asked about the correlation between rashes and a new skin cream. The second asked about the correlation between crime rates and gun control legislation. Participants with strong math skills were much more likely to get the first question correct. But despite being mathematically identical, the results for the second question looked totally different. Here, math skills weren't the best predictor of which participants answered correctly. Instead, another variable the researchers had been tracking came into play: political identity. Participants whose political beliefs aligned with a correct interpretation of the data were far more likely to answer the problem right. Even the study's top mathematicians were 45% more likely to get the second question wrong when the correct answer challenged their political beliefs. What is it about politics that inspires this kind of illogical error? Can someone's political identity actually affect their ability to process information? The answer lies in a cognitive phenomenon that has become increasingly visible in public life: partisanship. While it's often invoked in the context of politics, partisanship is more broadly defined as a strong preference or bias towards any particular group or idea. Our political, ethnic, religious, and national identities are all different forms of partisanship. Of course, identifying with social groups is an essential and healthy part of human life. Our sense of self is defined not only by who we are as individuals, but also by the groups we belong to. As a result, we're strongly motivated to defend our group identities, protecting both our sense of self and our social communities. But this becomes a problem when the group's beliefs are at odds with reality. Imagine watching your favorite sports team commit a serious foul. You know that's against the rules, but your fellow fans think it's totally acceptable. The tension between these two incompatible thoughts is called cognitive dissonance, and most people are driven to resolve this uncomfortable state of limbo. You might start to blame the referee, complain that the other team started it, or even convince yourself there was no foul in the first place. In a case like this, people are often more motivated to maintain a positive relationship with their group than perceive the world accurately. This behavior is especially dangerous in politics. On an individual scale, allegiance to a party allows people to create a political identity and support policies they agree with. But partisan-based cognitive dissonance can lead people to reject evidence that's inconsistent with the party line or discredits party leaders. And when entire groups of people revise the facts in service of partisan beliefs, it can lead to policies that aren't grounded in truth or reason. This problem isn't new. Political identities have been around for centuries, but studies show that partisan polarization.
You telling me you don't see this happening in the news right now? So-called intelligent people sound dumb as hell trying to force you, coerce you to choose somebody based on a narrative that was orchestrated. Now, this cognitive dissonance kind of reminds me of enhancement bias in intimate relationships, right? In intimate relationships, the two people in the relationship have a vested interest in the relationship working. So what tends to happen is they will minimize the bad qualities in the person that they're dealing with and aggrandize their good qualities. Well, this bipartisan or this partisan cognitive dissonance seems like the same thing as the enhancement bias. They don't want to be objective about their particular candidate. And so you got to go along with the group in order to get along. You understand? So if you have any real questions for either one of these people, you seem like a hater and a dissenter to the group and your people. But who are our people, black people in America? Who are your people? Who are our people? Have politicians ever been our people? Well, you know, Abraham Lincoln, he was forced into greatness. Y'all remember the book, right? He didn't want to free no damn slaves. At what point, right, does critical thinking come into play? At what point does critical thinking step in and you say, I get to think about who I want to choose. I get to ponder on it. I get to weigh it. I'm not going to be pushed by you to do something because you say, I'm supposed to do it and my dead ancestors wanted it done. My dead ancestors were abused by the nation, and they were not aware that their abuse would be used as a motivating factor to get us to the polls. You got to use something better. Our dead ancestors are not rolling over in their grave because some of us didn't want to participate. Why is it a conspiracy theory, or you're seen as crazy if you say, stop, look, listen, think objectively? Why should I do this? Why does it matter? Please explain your policies. What exactly are you going to do for the people that have been the most maligned in this country? How is it that you could do for everybody else, but then have him and Han excuses decades after decade after decade? Oh, well, we've done this incrementally. Yes, and we've done this in a marginal way. I need more substantive answers and clear answers about what you're going to do. But what I see that both these people have in common, it's a lot of word salad on both sides. It's not just Kamala. It's Trump too. Right? It's Trump too. You see that Joe Rogan interview? So what did they show you about aliens and this and that and crafts? It starts with a quote from him. You'd be blown away by if I told you what I saw. Then it comes back to, and I'm paraphrasing all of this, then eventually it comes back to, well, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. When it's time for me to say what I need to say, based on what I saw, it won't be that bad. It won't be that devastating. Well, wait a minute. You just said we'd be blown away. That's what Rogan started with. It's doubling back. It's backpedaling. It's switching what you said. Can you talk about it? Well, they told me not to. They told me not to open it, but I opened it. But then they told me not to. Did they tell you not to say anything? Like, double talk, double speak. They all do this. And where does this lead us as a people, as a collective? I see so many people who claim not to be a coon, not to be a Sambo, capitulating to empty promises based on identity politics. It's identity politics on the blue, and it's identity politics on the red. The red, Christian nationalism, which is just another word for white supremacy in the name of God. No different than the Ku Klux Klan. The Ku Klux Klan was a religious organization that was started by Freemasons. Albert Pike and them, and others. They have a special book called the Quran. The Quran. Not the Quran, but the Quran. That's interesting, right? This was the first terrorist organization put together to keep black people from voting, right? Why did they want to keep black people from voting? Because number one, they used to be slaves. Number two, the vote was now open to them. And number three, they haven't established how to control the masses with regards to the vote. Enter Electoral College. They never really wanted you to choose anybody because the people who ran this country and established this country, their forebears, forefathers, whatever you want to say, they knew if you put the power in the people, the country would be a mess. Why did they think that? Because they understood that the country, the population was filled with commoners. And commoners are virtually unlearned, which is why the initial move was white landowners that are male. But even some of the stupidity fell into that demographic, right? Why? Because not all white landowning males were educated and intelligent. So again, they're trying to control with a K, chloron with a K, the chloron, the Ku Klux Klan, their special handbook. You can look it up right now. It's called the chloron. As a matter of fact, if you look that up online and pull up a picture, bro, chloron, K-H-L-O-R-O-N, Chloran, the handbook of the Ku Klux Klan. Right? Yeah, prevented us from voting because they hadn't figured out how do we water down superdelegates. Wasn't around then. We need some superdelegates. We need electoral college. We need to make it so the masses don't really have there's the illusion of choice, as the movie The Matrix says. They say, oh, he's referencing a movie. Well, who did the writers reference? What did they study? Right? You're being villainized for questioning. Always question. Krishnamurti said the highest form of education is to be able to observe without judgment. Let's see without judgment. If I could be honest, can I question your allegiance with my style, with my swagger, with my culture, with my vibe? Can I question why? Who are you? Where'd you come from? Right? Can I question that? Oh, no, you can't question that. Oh, okay, cool. Did you see it, brother? Now, if I pull it up, I'm going to be like, where is Sarah? Here it is, Chloran, Kloran, originally published 1915, Chloran of the Ku Klux Klan, illustrated edition. The Chloran is the handbook of the Ku Klux Klan. Versions of the Chloran typically contain detailed descriptions of the role of different Klan members, as well as detailing Klan ceremonies and procedures. The letters KL were often used at the beginning of words to designate a Klan association. Do you see that, brother? I've been telling y'all this is a giant psyop. Okay? What does it say? Hey, Zoe, make sure you let them know I'm not their engineer because... Keep cooking. Yes, Sarah's not behind the board today. What's your name, good brother? Marcel is behind the board today. I be getting messages, right? There you go. Sounds like the Quran. The Quran, right? Take the L out, you got Quran with a K. Huh? White book. Character with a K. Honor and duty. See that? Why did they keep the black man from voting back then? Not just because of the color of your skin. They just didn't want the shift of power. The balance of power. Not only that, we don't want the black man to become politically aware, politically astute, to understand, right, whatever policies. Now, it's a damn shit show. Now the social influencer has more influence than an academician, than people in intelligentsia that are, I remember back in the days, you needed Colin Powell if you were a Republican. Y'all remember? Every time they had their Republican candidate, you needed a Colin Powell to show up, right? If Colin is on board, then everybody on board. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember George W. needed Colin Powell. Remember, before it was George W., people thought Colin Powell should have been the first black president. Y'all remember that? But Colin's wife stepped up and said, is it Colin or Colin? Colin Powell? Am I saying his name wrong? Calling him Colin. Anyway, his wife stepped up and said, no, sir, you not running. No, sir, we not doing this. Y'all remember that? Play the clip, Cardi B. This is what we got now. Influencers.
I work so hard, bro. I work so hard on my speech. And a lot of y'all talking about like, oh, why are you reading it from a phone? Bitch, I had to write that shit down because I had to make, bitch, I'm 32 years old, bitch. And I have 3 kids. My mind be fucking raising all goddamn day, bitch. Like, it's like sometimes, bitch, I be arguing on my shower, like fucking rehearsing what I'm gonna tell niggas when I see them. And you know what? I forget what I be telling them. I'm like, damn, I was in the fucking shower for 30 minutes. I was gonna say to this motherfucker. But you know what? Then when I be in face to face, I be forgetting. So, you know, when it comes to this shit right here, I been knew what I've been wanting to say, but I had to make sure I ain't forget. So I wrote that shit the fuck down. Y'all gonna hear what the fuck I had to say. And I'm proud of myself.
And this is no disrespect to her. Because what'll happen is, oh, because you brought it up, you hating on Cardi. No, I'm not. I'm saying they're using Cardi because Cardi is a star. They're using Glorilla. They're using Meg Thee Stallion because they're stars. And in today's culture, the star is the influencer. Cardi's an influencer. Do you see? So do you see how they're being used? If you sit anybody down and say, what's your political affiliation? Give me the top 10 policies that Kamala is going to enact that are different than the Biden administration. That's going to separate her from what she did the last 3.5 years. Give me the top 10 of those. Do you think Cardi could say that? And like I said, this is no disrespect to Cardi B. I'm saying they're using her. They're using her fame. They're using her influence to send a message. Donald Trump is not above it either. He got Lil Wayne. Could we ask Lil Wayne what his top 10? And I'm not saying Lil Wayne is an uneducated and not an intelligent person, because if you listen to Lil Wayne's smart. But I've heard Lil Wayne say things that didn't line up, didn't go well. And like I said, this is not to disparage Lil Wayne either, but they're using Lil Wayne too. What's the next clip? Watch this. You guys gonna bug out.
Republicans by DNA. Some of them voted for Trump in 2016, Biden in 2020, and have told us because of Biden's policies, because of inflation, the cost of living, they're going back to Trump.
Kamala Harris's appeal for the black male vote is insulting and patronizing. She summons Obama from his mansion on Martha's Vineyard to shame black men into voting for her. Instead of an economic agenda that she talks to white groups, that she offers Beyonce and a legalization of marijuana.
Brandon Johnson, from my heart to yours. Trump 2024. No more blue, no matter who. Donald J. Trump. Trump 2024. He gonna stop the bleeding. He gonna deal with this sanctuary city, and he gonna help us get you out, and he gonna get anybody out who roll with you, who think they gonna tear up Chicago. Y'all getting out too.
You could, if you gave those people amnesty and allowed those people to vote, and it was very organized, you're talking about 75,000 votes over a few counties that switched everything over to the Republicans. You could see how you import 10 million people over the course of 4 years. illegally and then move a significant number of them to swing states and then provide them with all these services and then give them a path to citizenship, you could essentially rig those states.
Undeniably, immigration is changing our nation.
Kamala Harris is in serious trouble. And it's not just, the right or Republicans saying this anymore. The alarm bells are going off. The copium that you see from the left, especially on Twitter, is hilarious. She is just a losing candidate. She is the worst candidate, the worst presidential candidate I have ever seen in my lifetime. And I have seen from many people, they agree. Most people I know who want to vote for her, it's because they hate Trump. They're actually not voting for Harris. There's nothing to believe in with her. She is an empty shell of a human being. She just parrots the same thing over and over and over again and thinks that the American people are stupid. And I don't care how many people they bus in for these fake rallies, how many rappers she gets to, twerk and shake and give deranged ghetto speeches. I don't care how many celebrities there were at Diddy's parties that are, supporting her. I don't care if Hollywood is all behind her. They are ramping things up with these celebrity endorsements. I mean, at the last minute, so because they think we're just so stupid that we're going to look at these people as though they're God and they're going to answer our prayers and whatever they say, well, that's going to influence us like we're 12 years old. They think that we're not functioning adults. And it's no wonder because she just, again, she's like a parrot, or as a person described, she's like a magic 8-ball. You just shake it up and she's just going to give you whatever Democrat platitude that comes out. Her answers don't match the questions. Her speeches are canned and she just the same answers, and no one's buying her BS anymore.
So I was raised as a middle-class kid.
I grew up a middle-class kid.
I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people.
We have ambitions and aspirations and dreams.
The ambition, the aspiration, the dream. I started my career as a prosecutor.
I was a career prosecutor for most of my career.
Having a background as a prosecutor, I intend to create an opportunity economy.
Developing and creating an opportunity economy.
What I imagine and believe and call an opportunity economy. It is good to be back in Pennsylvania. It really is good to be back in Wisconsin. It is so good to be back in Michigan. I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. And listen, I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I know Donald Trump's type. I know Donald Trump's type. In this campaign, I proudly put my record against his any day of the week. In this campaign, I'll tell you, I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week. Are you ready to make your voices heard? Ready to make your voices heard? Are you ready to make your voices heard? When we fight, we win! I grew up understanding the children of the community are the children of the community. We all believe that when we talk about the children of the community, they are the children of the community. Should never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States of America. Never again. Never again. Should never again stand behind the seal of the President.
Now you may
And Donald Trump is not off the hook. His wife stole a whole speech from Barack Obama's wife, Michelle Obama. Nobody's off the hook. The lady says she's quite possibly speaking of Kamala Harris, she's quite possibly the worst candidate for president in the history of America or ever. Donald Trump is right there. So if we're really going to drill down and say, this is the most important election of our lives, how can we be derided and denigrated for saying, so what are you going to do for us for the vote? For our vote, in exchange for our vote, what exactly are you going to do? What plan do you have? Somebody in the chat room just said there has never been a group in American society that was able to pull themselves up by the bootstraps alone. Everybody got some type of supplement, some type of support in some kind of way. Now, I don't know the stats or the facts, but what I do know is this has turned into a shit show. Let's bring the strippers out. Let's have people turn over, bend over, and it's turned into a gender war. It's turned into a lot of stuff. And what I'm recognizing is there is no unity in the black community amongst this, or at least, yes, there is. There's some unity in the black community, but it's not being promoted. Okay? If you got 97% of black women voting for Democrats down ballot for the most part, right? Down ballot. And then you got 88% of black men doing the same. You got the number 1 and 2 constituent blocks. There's 14 million black households in America. There's 83 million white households in America. It seems like the black vote, we have our ish together, whereas everybody else. Are you going to blame the college-educated white men that are afraid to have a woman in office? Are you going to blame them? Are you going to blame the 53% of white women who voted for Donald Trump and got Donald Trump in office? How did the buck land with the bruh? How did the buck land on the brother? I'm just interested to know, because there's a lot of white men, there's a lot of Latino men. Their culture is different. The woman follows their lead, so they might not see. You got a lot of black men here in America who love their mother above and beyond any other woman. They would not put down a black woman because they were raised by one. For the most part, toxic or not, good mama, bad mama, don't matter. Most black men in America was raised by their mama. So how is it that we got an issue with seeing a woman in control when many of us were raised in an environment where the woman was in control? Are you saying we became toxic because she was toxic and we modeled her toxicity? Are you saying black women are the creator of the toxic black men that black women are now saying don't date because he toxic? I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. And many of us don't like difficult questions or difficult conversations because, that goes against what I believe. Then you can't learn. If you can't study something that goes against your belief, how do you stretch what you know? How do you expand upon your knowledge base? How do you do it? If you're looking objectively, we got two weak candidates here. They're strong in their perspective positions in this regard. Black woman, first woman ever to be vice president. Strong in the gender argument. This is why the candidates have scripts that speak to their strengths. The Make America Great Again, the MAGA, all these people, he speaks to that strength. But when we start getting down to the politics of what you're going to do, remember in the debate, this war would have been over in the Ukraine. I'm just going to sit down and talk to him. I'm going to have a conversation with him like, he's talking like these my homies. I'm finna go holla at him. Right? That's how he talking. These the homies. I'm going to pull them together. We're going to have some drinks and, you know, some burgers, and it's going to be cool. That's how he talks. But that's not American policy. That's not the CFR. Right? Foreign policy? What is that? What is that? What is that called? Tristan, what up? Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Listen, if you guys want to support, please support right now. Go to my Cash App or the Super Chat. Either one. You can support via Cash App or Super Chat. The Cash App is $ZoWhat Netter. If I have any moderators in the chat, can my moderators please put up my Cash App? The Super Chat is the $ down at the bottom of the chat. We got 400 people in here. Imagine if everybody in here went to my Cash App and dropped $3. That would be significant. 400 people. Everybody hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the share button. If you haven't done it, subscribe, 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 subscribe. I'm not here to disrespect any of the candidates, especially Kamala, because people, it's easy to attack a woman. It's easy to try to put a woman down. I'm not here to disrespect the sister. I'm just here to say what's going to happen for us either way. And I think the expectation might be just do it. So what if nothing happens? At least you got a sister in there. But you guys are selling me on things that are not real, right? The flow is beautiful. Keep going. And let me just say this. I got another clip I want to play because I've always looked at politicians, law enforcement, doctors, and now we're starting to look at food in the same way. Nothing can be trusted. What did the minister say to Mike Wallace?
Be the best place for me at this time. If I went to Israel, I don't think Israel would be the best place for me to be at this time, considering the view that most Jews have of Louis Farrakhan.
You go to Nigeria, which is, if not the most corrupt nation in Africa, and it is, it could be the most corrupt nation in the world, Minister Farakhan.
Oh, now, Mr. Wallace.
It is the most corrupt nation that I have ever covered. I've been there 25 years ago, and I've been there as recently as last year.
Fine. So what? 35 years old. That's what that nation is. Now, here's America, 226 years old. You love democracy? But there in Africa, you're trying to force these people into a system of government that you just have accepted 30 years ago. Black folk got the right to vote. You're not in any moral position to tell anybody how corrupt they are. You should be quiet and let those of us who know our people go there and help them get out of that condition. But America should keep her mouth shut wherever there's a corrupt regime, as much hell as America has raised on the earth. No, I will not allow America, or you, Mr. Wallace, to condemn them as the most corrupt nation on earth when you have spilled the blood of human beings. Has Nigeria dropped an atomic bomb and killed people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Have they killed off millions of Native Americans? How dare you put yourself in that position as a moral judge? I think you should keep quiet, because with that much blood on America's hands, you have no right to speak. I will speak because I don't have that blood on my hand. Yes, there's corruption there. Yes, there's mismanagement of resources. Yes, there is abuse. There's abuse in every nation on earth, including this one. So let's not play holy to moralize on them. Let's help them.
I'm not moralizing. I'm asking a question, and I got an answer.
Why would you put it as the most corrupt regime in the world? That doesn't make sense.
Can you think of one more corrupt?
Yeah, I'm living in one. I'm living in one. Yes, you've done a hell of a thing on this earth, so you should not be the one to talk. You should be quiet when it comes to moral condemnation, in my judgment. I didn't mean to be so fiery.
No, that's good. That's good.
That's my passion.
Interesting. Listen to this.
Mr. Trump is an anomaly. He's someone that doesn't fit the norm. You expected a man to be like the other presidents. You wanted him to be more presidential. He's so transparent. You wanted him to put on a suit and act dignified, like the thieves and robbers that dress in suits and tell lies. You wanted him to be like that. And you're angry because he's your reflection. He's an anomaly. You can't make him what you desire him to be so that you can say, oh, that's my president. He wasn't made that way. God has him here. What did you say, Farakhan? Do you think that God is not interested in who is president of the United States of America? Especially when it's out of the time of evil?
Some people would say, you can mute the volume over there on the TV. Some people would say that I discredit myself or I invalidate my point by bringing on an anti-Semitic person. Well, I don't believe that Minister Louis Farrakhan is anti-Semitic. And I think what happens is we get off point, right? We get off point. If we're listening to what the minister said, right? If we're listening critically, if we're paying attention, what he said to Mike Wallace, you're not in any position to judge. You're not in position to critique. That's what he was talking about. He was like, as dirty as America's hands are in other countries, you should be the last one to speak. That's what he was talking about. And what happens is, Farakhan said this many, many years ago in the 80s. And because he said this, we perceive him to be that. And now we can discredit everything that he says moving forward. And I'm saying, no. Listen to what he said to Mike Wallace regarding corruption, regarding the pot calling the kettle black, regarding the splinter in your enemy's eye and the plank in your own. Do you understand? He was saying, no, y'all are not in a position morally to speak on any negativity that's going on in that country. You're not in a moral position to speak. So what happens is we get to deflect from the initial point that he was making. And then in this last clip, what he's basically saying is God put that man, that tyrant, that mess of a man in position because things have to be destroyed. Now, I don't know anything about it. What I do know is without black unity, it don't matter who is the new Caesar. Doesn't matter. Without us coalescing around each other, without us building with each other, without us healing together, without us working or healing with each other, right? On this lifelong journey. Every other country, not to say that they are devoid of, corruption or turmoil or dysfunction, but they have a different level. When you start looking around, they have a different level of solidarity. Our solidarity is based on that paper. Do you understand? That's where our solidarity lies. The bread. Who gonna pay me for what I'm doing? This is why I'm here. I'm here to get paid. You wasting my time. Even in our intimate relationships. I talk about this all the time. Your wound, your unhealed wounds have an appetite that needs to be fed. It's not only the narcissist that's looking to be fed, it's the codependent that's looking to be fed. The self-love deficient. Everybody want to get something. Everybody has an appetite for something. And we get in relationships and we use each other and we misuse each other. And then every 4 years roll around and it's the most important vote of our lives, and we ain't worked on unity the previous 4 years. We're just supposed to come together every 4 years when our vote or not casting a vote means the end of the world. It's the end of the world every time. If you don't vote this time, it's over, right? And I'm not saying that might not be true. What I'm saying is it's hard to ask an ununified group of people to come together in solidarity and it have any meaning because we're not together normally. Let's just be honest. We're in competition with each other in the church. The church could be some of the most judgmental people you'll ever want to meet. They will condescend. They will disrespect, like this spiritual toxicity that they have. You want to see a high level of envy? You want to see a high level of corruption? Look no further than the church. I'm not even going to talk about the recent allegations that are out there about some super pastors. I'm not even going to speak on that because it's alleged. We don't know. Your sense of self, your sense of self-worth comes from white wealth. Black people, did you hear what I said? Your sense of self-worth comes from white wealth. Black people. And when you get acknowledged by this beast of a system, by this devil of a system, you feel as if you have arrived. Whether it's a Grammy, an Oscar, a position in line stumping for a political candidate. At the end of the day, what are they going to do for your people specifically? And why is that such a big problem to ask? What are you going to do for us, considering what you've done to us? The brother said, you've done a hell of a thing on this planet. As much hell as you've raised, how you going to moralize about corruption? And ain't nobody more corrupt than you. Now, what you going to do for the people that made you wealthy? I ain't going to do nothing. I'm everybody's president. Coming out of a black mouth, and I'm saying black. You know why I'm saying black. Just get in line. We got to stand together. We got to rock with her. We got to push her over the top. Absolutely. Let's push a sister over the top. But tell me the truth. We're doing it because it looks good. We're doing it because it's going to empower young black girls to look up and see a black woman in office as the president. Okay, tell us that. But how did that work out for us with Barack? I felt good voting for Barack. I did. Where did that leave us as a people, collectively, economically, in America? Did we do better under Barack or worse? The numbers are out there. The numbers are out there. Aren't we tired of superficial fluff? Aren't we tired of just the look? Can we have more than the look? It looks right. Yes, it's beautiful. But can we have more than a look? If you ask me who I'd rather win, Trump or Kamala, I'm just going to be honest. They're virtually the same people to me. They're politicians. Listen, I don't know what to tell y'all. Tomorrow's the big day. I have a daughter and I have a granddaughter, and I love them both dearly. They mean the world to me. I don't want anything negative to happen to my daughter or my granddaughter. I am a lover and advocate of black women. I want to see black women win. Okay? I want to see black women win all across this great country. I want to see black women succeed. I want to see black families succeed. I want to see black men succeed. I want to see black people reach a new level of consciousness where unity, collaboration, cooperation, mutual respect, mutual support becomes the norm for our people. But that's not going to happen until we heal. And as long as we're unhealed, we can be manipulated. Where there is an unhealed wound in your spirit, there will be an external demand of others. When you start to heal what's happening on the inside, you start to realize that I never had to look outside for resources. I can cultivate them from within and then get with like minds and continue to cultivate them with other like-minded people. As long as there's a wound on the inside, there will be an external demand. We got PTSD, post-traumatic slave syndrome, that the great Joy DeGruy. I would love to see Joy DeGruy as the president of the United States. I would have loved to see Francis Cress Welsing as the president of the United States. Do you understand what I'm saying? I would love to see Michelle Obama as the president of the United States. I don't have no hate in my heart for sisters. I love black women, period. My mama black. Her mama black. No, her mama biracial. But I'll take it as black. Her mama black, though. My great-grandmama. Listen, I love our people. But we got to stop trying to come together in the last moment to do something for identity politics, right? Do something that looks good on paper. We need real equity in this country. Real equity. You talk about a seat at the table. No, we need some equity in the house that the table sits in. Real equity. Reparations would be a type of equity, like real equity. But we still live in a time where when you get real equity in whatever industry you in trouble. Y'all know if you talk too much, you saw what happened to Kyrie Irving a couple years ago. Talk too much will shut you down. You're going against the narrative. Black people, even though you've accumulated, it was Quincy Jones who told me that. Quincy said, you rappers are doing the right thing. He said, go get the money. Go get the money. He said, then go pay your friends. Because if you don't put your friends on, you don't give your friends a job, they will kill you because they starving like you were starving. So he said, when you blow up, you make sure you get them jobs so they can stay out your, like they'll be in your house trying to kill you. So pay them to calm them down because they might not have the skill set or the gifts that you got. Then he said, now, once you've accumulated this money, what did he say? He said, go find out if your money has any power. See, niggas think, boy, if money gave you power, it would be illegal for you to have it. He said, go find out and see if your money got any power. Here's an example of that. Bill Cosby. Go try to buy NBC. Nigga, that $600 don't mean nothing here. Your money is no good here. You trying to buy equity. Michael Jackson, Sony ATV Publishing. Wait a minute, who let this little nigga into the real estate section of the music industry? Who told him about this? Now it's too late. He done built a goddamn juggernaut, Elvis Presley records. People always get the stat wrong. He owned 150 of the Beatles songs. Not all of their catalog, not their whole catalog, only 150 records. But it was some pretty powerful records in that catalog. Roy Orbison, Pretty Woman. Mike owned these records. He's owning, it's like the motherboard in the computer. Like he's owning, that's real estate. See, when you start getting too big, Quincy said, go find out if your money got any power. Mike found out every time he tried to go back and renegotiate, every time he go do a new album, they want to renegotiate the terms of the publishing. That has nothing to do with getting a budget to record an album for you. Hey, Mike, can we get another 0.5% on the publishing? Mike was the lion's shareholder of it. 52%. And they kept trying to inch their way in. As powerful as he was, what y'all don't understand is he was worth more to the labels gone. He's been gone since '09. He's pulling in billions of dollars, paying off hundreds of millions in taxes. Billions. 5-6 months after he died in '09, he was in the hole 500 million. A half a billy gone in 6 months. Paid up. Can we get some real equity in America? Would reparations provide that type of equity? And if we did get that kind of equity, would we destroy ourselves with it? Because money only enhances what you haven't healed. So if we haven't healed our competitive nature towards each other, our Willie Lynch nature towards each other, our disrespect towards each other, don't you think money would exacerbate the problems that are already pre-existing within our community? Will this election heal us? I'm asking real questions. Will this election change who we are spiritually at a fundamental level? At what point do we get to a space where we say, hey, we need each other? And whatever is keeping us apart, let's commit to working through it together, regardless of if the system backs us or not. Now, you could say, don't nobody want to do that. All I can say is a man with a third grade education did it. And that damn organization still exists today. It's called the Nation of Islam. Now, I'm not a member of the Nation of Islam, but I see what they did. That nation is what? 5, 6, almost 7 decades old? I think there's something to say for black unity. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, are we going to nitpick over doctrine? Are we going to nitpick over what kind of Islam it was? See, we got somebody in here right now, JR, the nation is compromised. I'm talking about the blueprint of what they did. I don't know the inner workings of the nation. I don't know what's compromised about them or not. But this is why we can't have unity. Because I'm talking about the principle that established something that's 7 decades. You want to talk about what's wrong with it. There's going to be something wrong with every organization. Somebody said 1933 is when it was started. But it's listen, are you a sameness person or a difference person? Do you look for what's different in meeting somebody, or do you look for sameness in meeting somebody? Are you a sameness person with a bent towards difference, which means you look for sameness first, then difference later? Are you a difference person, right, with a bent towards sameness? Do you look for sameness first, then difference later? What kind of nigga are you in here making that point when it's off topic? We're talking about unity. You're talking about disunity. The nation is compromised. One line, no facts. This is why we're not together. This is why we broken as a people. Say something else, brother. I would like to hear your point. I just think it's problematic in 2025. Yeah, because we're there now. 2025. You don't know what's around the corner. You don't know if the next pandemic is around the corner. Right? You don't know if the next pandemic is around the corner. You don't know if the next world war is around the corner. You don't know if water shortage, water wars are around the corner. You don't know if food contamination and food shortages are around the corner. Who's your family? When Nigerians come to America, they always, I was at Long Beach State watching Brother Reza Islam speak. This was about a year and a half ago. They said it outright. We have a country to go to. That's what the beautiful Nigerian sister. Basically, the inference is y'all just a rabble of black people here in America lost amongst yourselves, making relationship goals out of the ones who rose up a little bit, making examples of who to model after people who made a little money. But really, y'all don't have no covering. They were saying, if it go bad, we can go home. If it go bad, we can go to our community. We have a community where it's just us, Nigerians. That's what I sat there and listened to that. And I said, that's what's missing here. And this isn't to disparage any Nigerians. This isn't to put my brothers and sisters down. This is me just pointing out the fact that they have a level of unity. They have a country. Your country still sees you as chattel in a lot of ways. They say, "So that's not right. That's wrong." How could they see us as chattel? Because they refuse to right the wrong they did to your soul. They refuse to right the wrong they did to your soul. They know what generational curses are. They know generational trauma can be passed down. They know that. But they refuse to acknowledge any of it as it pertains to you. And then they tell you your ancestors are mad at you if you don't vote for one of them. What? Huh? You're not going to address none of my issues that are systemic in this country. You're not going to address none of it. But you'll try to buy the entertainer I like to get me to vote for you. Play the 50 Cent.
Is it true Donald Trump tried to give you money to endorse him one time?
I got a call, but they wanted me to, Sunday.
Oh, they wanted you to come yesterday.
Madison Square Garden?
This week.
Yeah. They wanted you
Oh, yeah,
to
because they
pop
wanted
out
you to
there?
perform Mini Men. They wanted you to perform Mini Men at the RNC too, right?
Yeah, and they still offered me $3 million.
To perform?
At the RNC or this past Sunday?
Huh?
At
No, this past Sunday.
At $3 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then they offered you money for the Republican National Convention too, right?
Mm-hmm.
You turned
How
it
much
down?
was that?
Yeah, I didn't even go far back. I wasn't talking to them about that kind of stuff. 'Cause I'm afraid of politics, bro. So you understand. I do not like.
You don't like
no
gang,
part of politics.
no gang bang or politics.
No gang bang, no politics. You know, it's because when you do get involved in it, no matter how you feel, someone passionately disagrees with you.
That's everything, though. I mean, politics is worse, but
it's
that's
worse
everything.
now. But that's the formula for the confusion that is sent Kanye to Japan. he said something about both of those things, and now he can only go to Japan.
I like Glorilla. You can mute that. I like Glorilla as an artist. My daughter put me on to her. And yes, she a little ratchet. Yes, she from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm from Chattanooga. Yes. But I will say this. Hold on. Sorry about that. I will say this. Her album is empowering for sisters. You know? She's talking about abuse and getting away from toxic people, and she's got some empowering records on there. And because politics is aware of what you like, because you're the culture maker, politics is aware of who you own, because we are the pulse. They get with whoever. When was the last time Beyonce kicked it with Hillary Clinton? But they had that famous hot sauce moment, right? Pull up the picture with me, Kool Moe Dee, Hillary Clinton, and Quincy Jones. This around, I think this is 2007, 2008. This is when Hillary was running against Barack. And Q at the time was 100% behind the Clintons. So after having several conversations with me and Mo and I, at his home, Quincy was like, y'all come back up here, because I need somebody to explain the hip-hop culture to Hillary and how important it is to her campaign. Now, what he didn't know was probably not me and Mo, because me and Mo are pretty much anti-organization, anti-institution, right? I remember there was a time when KRS-One had just got an A&R president position. He was the president of Reprise Records, and this is in 2000s, man. He signs Kool Moe Dee as his first signing, and then Moe Dee brings me on as executive producer. And we putting on, Moe Dee's gonna come back, and Chris was like, yo, he was one of my idols. He was one of the guys I looked up to. Moe Dee is a legend. I wanted to give back to the legend. And it was like, cool. But then this is around the time Chris was coming out with the Temple of Hip Hop, and he was looking for followers or people to sign up and people to get down. And he was like, Zo, you are a hip hop historian, brother. It was real cool. But he was like, I need y'all to sign up to the Temple of Hip Hop. And Mo and I declined. And I think it caused just a little bit of ruffled feathers, because Chris felt like y'all should be a part of the Temple of Hip Hop. And I was like, Mo was like, I don't join organizations. And I was like, me neither. Like, not like that. Nah, no, we good. And Chris didn't like that. And I think, later on, Chris actually quit the job at Reprise. But I think they cool now, but then it kind of scraped him a little bit. And I'm saying all that to say, Q brought us up there to talk to Hillary Clinton about hip hop, its significance, its importance. And again, you see the brother Sekou the Misfit, an incredible spoken word artist. And then the other man is Steve. I forgot his last name. He's an incredible spoken word artist. What Q did was he had those guys perform some poetry, some cold spoken word pieces, and then I think they left. They had to leave, or it was designed for them to leave. And then the real discussion part was me, Q, Hillary, and Mo. And what they didn't understand was we was going to tell them what it was. Hip-hop is about rebellion in terms of being able to speak up when you came from a country and a culture that minimized and marginalized your voice. You felt unseen as a people. You felt unheard as a people. And hip-hop allowed us to speak our truth when this land wasn't trying to hear a damn thing we was trying to say. And when I tell you she was cold, she tried to be warm. She tried to smile. I swear, she's a Scorpio. She tried to be warm. She tried to smile, but she was cold. She was robotic. She understood the assignment. She understood why she was there. But it wasn't resonating. And in our experience as black folk in America, this is what we've had to do with white people because they're so oblivious. I worked in the music industry. Steve Rifkin had to be told Wu-Tang was dope. He didn't know. Me and the brothers, Marvin Jones, actor Marvin Jones, and my homeboy Chase Johnson, we got a new podcast called Smoke and Mirrors. We had the black writer who wrote the movie The Princess and the Frog. He wrote for Will Smith and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He wrote for In Living Color. And the whole time, we've been translating our culture to them, explaining this is what it is. They don't know, but yet they need you, and yet you matter, but they don't know who you are. They don't understand you. But we just supposed to hop on board. We supposed to just hop on board and get down with anybody that look like us. You got to be like us. You got to love like us. You got to understand us boots to bones. You got to know us. Oh, she knows us. Okay. She know what we told her about us. He know what we told him about us. Told you Donald Trump treats black rich folk cool, but black po folk badly. I've been in these circles. I've been in these rooms for a long time at the highest level. People think they got an understanding of me, have no idea who I am and where I've walked, who's been affected by my presence. People don't even know. I live in a society now where there's a bunch of women with different ideations of what they think a black man is. They might look at me like I ain't did shit in my life. Who is this nigga to be talking? You don't know where I've walked. There's brothers who look at me like I ain't shit. And I'll be like, you don't know where I've been. You don't know my influence in different circles. But what does that mean if we can't come together? This is before the foxhole existed. This is what I was doing. We can't come together. We can't cooperate. We can't fall out with each other and heal our situation. Listen, I just wanted to start a conversation, man. Hey, listen, if you enjoyed today's show, please hit the super chat. It's 461 people in here right now. If everybody gave $2 on the on the super chat, we'd be nearly $1,000. The super chat is the $ located down at the bottom of the chat. Please support the channel. We need your support. We need your help. And if you wanted to donate to me directly, you can go straight to my Cash App. My Cash App is $ ZoWhat Netter. $ZoWhat Netter. Please support. Also, Total Package Energy. I want you guys to go there. Support that black-owned business. And, of course, don't forget, He is Risen. I'm sending 2 bottles out. A Richmond, let's shout everybody out that hits the super chat. A Richmond, what up? Everybody that hits the super chat, we're going to shout you out. Marcus, your 2 bottles are going out, my friend. Tonight, later on, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, KBLA Talk 1580. Please support A. Richmond. That is his 20th Cash App. That is his 20th Cash App. Definitely appreciate you, brother. Not Cash App, but Super Chat. And don't be afraid to Cash App. I get it directly. Go to my Cash App, $ ZoWhat Netter. Also, He is Risen, available at MrZoWhat.com. The libido pill put together by Russell Harrison of RussellHerbals.com. Also go to RussellHerbals.com to also get your detox program. He has phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Brotherhood, manhood, fatherhood. We appreciate y'all. And for those who are in the chat that were at the Pray That Got Away Relationship Roundtable, can you guys put an emoji up in the chat to let people know how you enjoyed that particular event? Just put up an emoji, any emoji you would like. Again, I'm on Tavis Smiley's KBLA Talk 1580 from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I'm off tomorrow because of the election. I encourage everybody to go out and vote. Vote wisely. Vote your heart. Vote your choice. But be informed. I encourage everybody to go out and vote in your local elections. All of the propositions, because those are the ones that are going to affect you immediately. Come the beginning of the year, they're probably going to go into effect. So vote locally, for sure, and vote for the president. Vote your heart. Vote based on facts. Vote based on the research you've done. But I don't want you to feel like, vote with your brain. I like that. I don't want you guys to feel like you're being bullied. I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of this stuff is Hollywood, the pomp and the pageantry. Malcolm X didn't respect no celebrity talking politics. Y'all remember that? Remember that time? Malcolm was like, who are these people talking? And I understood why. He was like, we need to talk to the policymakers, the people that are actually going to change the way we live. We get so caught up in all of the celebrity and the pomp and pageantry and the influencing of it all. We get influenced by the influencers, and now they telling us who to vote for. But what do you believe in? What would you like America to look like? Right? Most men I know, brothers I know, love y'all sisters dearly. I'm one of them. Love you dearly. And just like my daughter, my granddaughter, I want to see y'all win. There was a time when my daughter was 1 year old. And she was so, oh my God, my daughter was just so cute as a baby. My God, just a beautiful little baby. We were having a birthday party for her. It was on her birthday, and this is a moment that horrifies me to this day. It was her birthday. She was sick. She had like some little puffy jaws. She was sick. And we had a cake. I think she was like 1. And we had a cake for her. And one thing about my daughter, man, like she was the one that could just deal with pain. Her brother, not so much. But her, she was like, whatever, nigga. We having this party. I'm sick, but I'm here. Let's party, my nigga. Like, it's my birthday. Get this cake popping. She was only 1. Horrifying moment, though. I had made myself some tea, and I set the tea down next to her. And she grabbed the tea, you know, and, like, she took a little sip, and it, like, burnt her. And she screamed out, ah! But then she went back to playing. But the moment it was like a mental lapse where I just sat the cup down for a second and turned. And, you know, babies, you know what I'm saying? She grabbed it and took a sip, dropped it. And then, you know, she's a baby. She's 1. You know, she whimpered for a second. But then she was, you know, she was back on her hustle. She was back on her grind. She was good. But that moment terrifies me, right? It literally terrifies me. I still think about that moment. And she's 25 years old. Well, she'll be 25. I say all of that to say, I never wanted to be more of a protector for her than in that moment. And that moment has passed. So I've always been, you know, uber protective of her. And through her, she has taught me that I need to be that way for all sisters. Like, through her, I learned a tremendous amount of grace and care and understanding. And I'm trying to tell y'all, yes, we are all works in progress. Yes, we all got our issues. But brothers, I really believe it starts with us falling back in love with our women. But the only way to do that is we got to heal ourselves. Once we start healing ourselves, we're going to start attracting a different type of sister. And it's going to create a resonance. I think that has to happen. Because I'm tired of them parading the show in front of us. We get the show all the damn time. Bring out Wheezy for Trump. Bring out Glorilla. I like Glorilla. Damn, I like Glorilla. Because I can hear what she's talking about. But we got to do better. We got to do better for ourselves and for each other. Listen, I started the discussion. It's up to you to finish it. I'll be on tonight, KBLA Talk 1580. If you enjoyed it, I enjoyed it. I'll see you next week. Deuces.